Antler point restrictions produce a lot of emotion among hunters. We have discussions about loss of opportunity, buck harvest rates, hunter participation, and lots of other things that can be measured. But I think we miss something really important when we have these discussions. Perhaps those things that can't be measured are most important. Here a young buck enters a clearing, he walks over and works a licking branch, then goes to get a drink. This is not an unusual scene at my mother-in-law's farm in southern Michigan, but for over 30 years of my hunting life, I never saw anything like this, because I would have shot this buck the moment he poked his nose into the clearing. If I did that, I never would have seen the bigger buck that came in 15 minutes later. That is the kind of magic that happens when you pass young bucks. Most hunters in Michigan are like me. I went for most of my deer hunting life never seeing bucks acting naturally in the woods. I was raised in a culture in which we killed a buck if we had a shot. When it came to bucks for me, it was all about the killing. I knew very little about them in their everyday lives because I never got to observe them. I was opposed to antler point restrictions for a long time. By the time I started thinking about it, I was already passing young bucks and was active in a quality deer management program. I thought that antler point restrictions would be a polarizing thing, that they would create a backlash against QDM. I found out I was wrong about that. In every case where hunters have lived under antler point restrictions in Michigan, the majority have been in favor of continuing them when surveyed. I thought a lot about that and have come to believe that the appeal of antler restrictions involves something that cannot be measured. People enjoy seeing wildlife in the woods. But most Michigan hunters have never spent much time observing the behavior of one of the most interesting animals in the woods, the male white-tailed deer. Under antler restrictions, they can't shoot some of the bucks they see, and that leads to an incredible experience. They see bucks feeding, rubbing, scraping, and chasing. And they see that when one buck comes out, he is sometimes followed by another, and perhaps another. I think hunters are more interested in seeing wildlife than they are in just killing. We know from analyzing data from Leelanau County, where antler restrictions have been in place for 10 seasons, that year after year, more and more young bucks are spared. There's only one logical explanation for this harvest choice, which goes way beyond what antler point restrictions are capable of. Once hunters have experienced passing young bucks, they begin to make new harvest choices, including the passing of legal bucks. Why? Because killing deer is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the experience of being in the outdoors, seeing the wildlife, and experiencing one of the most amazing creatures in nature firsthand, the white-tailed buck. My name is Jim Brauker, and you've been listening to my personal feelings about the benefits of antler point restrictions. I'm part of an organization called the Lower Peninsula Deer Management Initiative. To learn more about antler point restrictions in Michigan, go to www.mideerhunt.org. Thank you.